Iconic photographs are photographic images produced in print, electronic, or digital media that are 1. Recognized by everyone within the public culture, 2. Understood to be representations of historically significant events, 3. Objects of strong emotional identification or response, and 4. Regularly reproduced or copied across a range of media, genres, and topics. We're going to show you 5 photos and explain the historical background of each picture. Later, we'll give you an opportunity to run through the criteria with us and determine if they're all iconic photos. One of them is not. See if you can recognize which one. When each picture appears, raise your hand if you recognize it. This picture was taken on February 23, 1945, and shows 5 U.S. Marines and a Navy corpsman raising the U.S. flag on Mount Suribachi during the Battle of Iwo Jima during World War II. This photo was taken in Times Square of New York City on August 14, 1945, otherwise known as Victory over Japan Day. This soldier was running through the streets kissing every woman he saw when photographer Alfred Eisenstadt captured a photo remembered for lifetimes to come.
On Friday, February 22, 1980, around 5 p.m. Eastern Time in Lake Placid, New York, was the start of a game that would be remembered for years and would be known as the Miracle on Ice. The 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team did the impossible. They beat the untouchable Soviet Union. This photograph is one of the most instantly recognizable pictures. It's Nessie, the famous Loch Ness Monster. This photograph was supposedly taken by Robert Wilson and was published in the Daily Mail on April 21, 1934.
This photo of the Beatles was taken on August 8, 1969, of the famous band crossing the street on Abbey Road. It was used for the cover of one of their greatest albums.
Even though this photo of Nessie is recognizable, it has no real historical background. No one really has any emotional attachment toward it other than Robert Wilson. There is just no historical significance to this picture to qualify it for an iconic photograph.
Raising the flag on Iwo Jima is a powerful photo that evokes strong and patriotic emotions by many Americans, especially those alive at the time, over this victory of Japan. It became so important that it won the 1945 Pulitzer Prize for photography. It's been reproduced thousands of times. Felix de Weldon sculpted a Marine Corps War Memorial adjacent to Arlington National Cemetery in honor of this picture. The United States Postal Service also printed it on a postage stamp. Even today, this photo is reproduced on clothes such as hats and even iPad cases. The kiss photo not only evokes but represents what strong emotions are depicted by this victory over Japan during World War II. This photo is so famous for its ability to remind people of the joy experienced on that day and the joy citizens continue to experience when reminded of the victory. It was unveiled as a bronze life-size sculpture by John Johnson II on August 14, 2005 in New York City. It's also been featured in the 2009 film Night at the Museum 2, the 2009 film Watchmen, and the 2010 film Letters to Juliet.
Although this was not the game to win them the gold medal, it was the most memorable and one of the most exciting moments in the Olympic Games. The win over the Soviet Union was more than just a win at a hockey game. It represented so much more. The United States was emerging from a troubled decade that was marked by the Vietnam War, Soviets invading Afghanistan, the Cold War, and at the beginning of these Olympics, 52 Americans were held hostage in Iran. All of this left our nation feeling helpless and depressed. This game was able to restore hope to the entire nation, even people who were not hockey fans. It was able to lift Americans from the decade of gloom and despair, reviving patriotism and foreshadowing the nation's renewal. It gave our country a reason to feel good again. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
Abbey Road has strong emotional significance for both fans and non-fans of the Beatles. As the cover of one of their best albums, fans cherish it. Even people who are not fans of their music will appreciate the cultural revolution it represents in America. Since then, it has been reproduced on merchandise from posters to mugs to shirts, as well as reproduced in pop culture with The Simpsons and Disney characters.
Everyone has a different view on each iconic picture, but as a whole, iconic pictures are viewed worldwide, are recognized by billions, and have some emotional attachment toward them.
Its freezing of a critical moment in time intensifies the journalistic experience, focusing the viewer's attention on a particular enactment of the tensions that define the public culture. But more than this, it does so ritualistically, as it repetitively conjures images of what is unsayable.